because they would like to. So first off, let's talk about anger in general. So when it comes to anger, sorry, I got a notification. Oh, stop it. Oops. Okay, there we go. Okay, so when it comes to anger, and I said a little bit like not that long ago, that anger is actually not a bad emotion. Traditionally and culturally, we have labeled emotions as negative or positive or good or bad. That's kind of outdated because if you think about it, emotions are just emotions. I like to classify, I guess, not really categories, but by like higher vibration emotions and maybe lower vibration emotions. But essentially labeling emotions good or bad, it's kind of outdated because emotions are just emotions. And why I want to talk about anger is because anger is actually one of our strongest emotions. It's our most one, it's one the easiest one that comes up. It's our strongest emotion. It's the most that we're reactive to. As parents, it's the most reactive emotion our children are to, or is anger. And so it's super important that we learn about anger and learn how to be angry, because being angry is not a bad thing. How we express anger, that's what matters. It's not the emotion that we feel. It's okay to be angry. Now, if you guys saw my last Instagram post, I think it was about 2 days ago, I kind of brought this up that I said, go and ask your child the question, is it okay to be angry? So if you haven't done that or haven't seen that post yet, I challenge you guys to go ask your child, is it okay to be angry? And just listen to what their response is. They may say something like, no, it's not okay to be angry, or I don't know, is it? And kind of question it. And this is a perfect opportunity for you as a parent to help teach your children that anger is actually not a bad thing. It's okay to be angry. We all get angry, and it's an okay emotion to feel. It's okay to be angry and frustrated. Again, it comes down to how anger is expressed. And so that's what I wanted to cover today, is how to be angry, because we don't want to push angry aside, because anger is an important emotion. And why it's so important is because, like I said, anger is our strongest emotion. But number two is that I like to think of anger as my friend, actually. I used to also believe that anger was bad, and anger was like, I need to shove it down deeper because I can't feel angry. But when we bottle that anger up, keep quiet about it, then later on, something else can trigger us, and then everything, like the floodgates open. Same thing with our children. So I now consider anger to be my friend. And anger is kind of like that friend who's always watching out for you. I know it may not seem like it, like, how is anger always watching out for me? But anger does. Anger always watches out for you. For you, for your child's needs, for your needs, everything, okay? It's a friend. Sorry, let's set that up again. Anyways, so anger is our friend. It could actually be, if you really leaned into it, it could be maybe your best friend. I love working with my anger, and when it comes up, and then now it doesn't come up that often because now I know how to really deal with it for myself and for my children as well. They know how to deal with it, so anger isn't really often comes up that much. And here's why: is anger is the person, or however you want to say it, your friend, that says, hey, you, mama, you got some unmet needs that are needing to be met right now, okay? And you're feeling angry about it, okay? You're feeling angry, not necessarily at your child, or your husband, or your spouse, or whatever is going on with your day. What you're angry about is that there is an unmet need that is going unmet. You have a need that's going unmet, and anger is coming up, and anger is trying to tell you, hey, mama, you got some needs that need to be met, okay? That's why I love anger, and that's why I consider anger my best friend, because when I'm feeling angry, I say, okay, there's obviously an unmet need that's going on. Okay, what is that unmet need? Is it my need for connection, attention, love, independence, growth, whatever need. I'm trying to identify what anger is trying to tell me. Okay, I'm not trying to shove it down, we're not trying to push it aside. We're trying to really tune into our anger and listen to our friend, our anger friend, tell us about what needs are going unmet. And so that is why anger is so super duper duper important, because it's a friend. It's trying to communicate to you by saying, yo, you have an unmet need that's going on. Let's address this so that we can fix it. We can, not be angry anymore about this unmet need, take care of ourselves so that we can better be present for the moment. The same thing is for our children. Our children feel angry. There's also an unmet need that's going on. Anger is also their friend. Anger does not have to be an enemy. Anger can be a friend. It can be a friend for us and a friend for our children. We just have to teach them how anger can be our friend. So with that being said, I have a few questions that I would like to ask you guys here. And this is just kind of really about exploring anger. Going a little bit deeper into anger. So some of the questions I want you to think about and write down. I want you to take some notes here, because I really, really, really want you to lean into your anger and communicate. Figure out how you communicate with your emotions, especially with anger, since it's our strongest one. Figure out, okay, like what needs going on when I do feel angry. Just having that kind of communication. So one of the questions I want you to ask is, do you currently use anger to create more connection or disconnection? Okay, I'm going to say that again. Do you currently use your anger to create more connection or disconnection? Okay, so that's another one. The second question is, how do you deal with your anger now when it arises? Do you yell? Do you shut down? Do you want to run away? You push away. If you don't want to deal, you push away. Do you turn to food? Do you turn to whatever, like how do you deal with anger when it arises? Okay. And as you're answering these questions, guys, be vulnerable with yourselves. It's okay. It's okay to feel that. It's okay to be like, that's, maybe I do turn to food when I feel angry. Ooh, that's okay, I know that. I'm aware of it now. It's all about bringing up that awareness. So, let me just wipe that off. I have one person watching. I don't know who it is. Let's see if I know. Oh my gosh, don't fall phone. Anyways, okay, so that's the second question. How do you deal with anger when it arises? Okay, and like I said, be vulnerable and be honest in your answers with yourselves. That's the best way you're going to learn about anger, is being honest with yourself. The third question is, how did your mother show you her anger? Kind of interesting. Going back, how did your mother show her anger? Why? Why would it be important to know how our parents show our anger? Well, if you know, or if you're watching the previous videos or whatever, you know that when big emotions arises, 95% of the time we actually parent unconsciously, which means we parent from how we were once parented. So when understanding, did my mom yell when she was angry? Okay. Do I yell when I'm angry? Okay. So that's why I really love to call parenting generational parenting, because it is. It's generational. We parent the way that our parents parented us. Either mostly unconsciously we're aware of it, or not aware of it, because 95% of the time we're parenting unconsciously, especially when big emotions or triggering situations arises. So that's another question. How did your mother show her anger? Okay. The fourth question, how did your father show his anger? Okay. That's another one. How did your father show his anger? Now, you might think, well, I grew up maybe in an abusive home or whatever, and I don't do that to my children. And that's great. Maybe you don't do certain things that your parents did, but it's not about the situation that happened to you as a child. It's about how you processed the situation. So if there was a lot of blame, shame, and pain in your household growing up, then unconsciously you might be applying blame, shame, and pain to your children during triggering situations. So again, that's why it's super important that we also write down how our mother and our father also expressed and showed their anger, so that we can kind of start making that connection, like, oh, my mom did do that and I do that. Huh, interesting. Okay. The next one is, what happened to you as a child if your mom or dad was angry in your home? Big one. Okay. What happened to you as a child if your mom or dad was angry in your home? Okay, that's the next section. Okay, the last one for this little section, I've got some more later on, is what happened to you as a child if you were angry in your home? Were you able to express anger in your home? Were you pushed away? Were you sent to your room when you were angry? Were your feelings not considered when you were angry? Okay, how did you express anger? This one is a great question, because when you feel angry, you might still be doing the same things. Or when your children feel angry and it arises and you feel that anger in yourself, then you send your child away or you yell at your child, because that's what happened to you when you were angry as a child. Okay, so take some time, take a deep breath. I know those are kind of pretty deep questions to ask yourself, so take some time and write those down. Really ponder them. You don't have to write them all now, but throughout the day, you know, I do urge you to write down and answer the questions. Okay. Okay, cool. So now that we kind of have this new awareness of how we as children dealt with anger, how anger was dealt with in our home when we were children, let's move on to our children now. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so here's some more questions for you. Get ready. Shake out your fingers if you need to shake out fingers, or stretch them if you're typing, whatever it is. Okay, so now let's explore a child's anger. Ready? Let's dive in. Okay, first question is, when does your child express anger? Okay, what time of the day, what kind of actions, what usually happens before they're expressing anger? When does your child express anger? Okay, I want to get really detailed here. Is it a certain day, certain time? Around what time? What situations usually tend to happen? You know, when does your child express anger? The next one is, how does your child express his or her anger? Okay, does she hit? Does she scream? Does she yell? Does she punch? Does she kick? Does she throw? How does your child, as of right now, as of today, or as of the past, express his or her anger? Okay. Okay, here's another question. Imagine the last time your child was angry. Okay, so I want you to close your eyes. Take a deep breath and put that picture in your mind of when your child was last angry. Okay, do you have that picture? Now, I want you to think about, what need did your child have in that moment that was not being met? Okay, so your child's feeling angry. You're taking yourself back to that moment, and in that moment, what was your child needing? What were their needs that were going unmet? Okay, was it maybe independence, cooperation, autonomy, growth, connection, appreciation, attention, unconditional love? Okay, what need was going unmet during that moment? Okay. This is a great question, because it helps us kind of stand back as parents and look at the situation from our child's perspective and getting into our child's shoes. Be like, okay, well, yeah, they were probably angry because their need for independence wasn't being met. Okay, so how can I meet that need for independence? Okay, because when their needs are met, there's no reason to be angry. Like, when all of our needs are met, there's no need for our anger friend to show up. Okay, same with any needs. Any needs for yourself, mama. Like, that's why self-care is so important, because the, I guess, hierarchy of getting needs met, it goes you, then your spouse or significant other if you have one, and then your children's. Okay, you have to work here. We have to be meeting our needs here so that we can meet our children's needs. Okay. The next one is, how do you deal currently with your child's anger? Okay, what do you do? Do you yell? Do you spank? Do you send them to their room? Do you tell them to stop being angry? Do you tell them to knock it off? Okay, what do you do? What do you currently do when your child expresses anger? Okay, the next one is, how would you like to teach your child about how to deal with anger? I'm gonna read that again. How would you like to teach your children about how to deal with anger? Okay, would you like to teach them how to take deep breaths? How to listen to their body, listen to their anger friend to help get their needs met? Would you like to help establish connection with them during those times? Okay, how would you like to help them or teach them? Last question is, how does your child feel when you as a parent express anger? So how does your child feel when you as the parent expresses anger? Okay, do they get frightened? Do they also show anger? Do they cry? Do they get, retreat? Okay, but how does your child feel when you express anger? Okay, great. So now that we got these questions, again, take some time to write them down. You're doing great work for yourselves and for your child here. Okay, so now that we kind of understand a little bit more about anger, understand that anger is our friend, how do we address it with our children? How do we teach our children how to be angry? Okay, and this is the fun part, okay? So with littler children, I kind of take it through different scenarios with littler children. If you saw my latest Instagram post, I shared 3 games that me and my oldest play. My oldest daughter, she's 3.5, play when she is feeling angry. Okay, we do one, we call it quickie taps, which means we go to the couch and she hits the couch as hard as she can by the time I count to 10. We see how many times she can do it. Okay, and we have her take a deep breath and then she does it again. This is a great way to help release that tension that's stuck inside their body, release that anger through hitting the couch. The next one is elephant breaths. It's where we hold like a stuffed animal or a favorite toy or blanket above their mouth, and then she takes a deep breath, and how hard she blows out, it determines how high I throw her giraffe, her little stuffed animal that she has. Now she does like a little breath, I barely throw it. This gets them into laughing. Laughing is a great way to kind of release anger and tension from the body, okay? So the kind of goal here is to kind of get them laughing, to just kind of relax, get it out of our system. Okay, and the last one is we do power pushes. So we'll either go back to back or feet to feet or hands to feet or hands to hands, whatever. And I say, okay, push against my hands as hard as you can. I give a little resistance, and she pushes, and then I'll let it. And then I'm like, oh, and then we'll do it again, do it again. And it gets really, really fun, really engaging. So that way, these type of games, number one, teaches children to, when you're feeling angry, that we can express anger in healthy ways by doing some power pushes or taking deep breaths or hitting a pillow, whatever it is. And so when you ask, okay, now I want to challenge you guys. I want you to ask your child today, is it okay to be angry? And just listen to their response and address to them, what, it is okay to be angry. Anger is a good thing. It's okay to be angry, okay? And if maybe they'll bring up like, well, Mom, depending on the age of your child, like, well, Mom, you said anger is not good or whatever, just accept it. Be like, oh, I know, I did say that. I'm learning and growing every single day, and I think I changed my mind that anger is actually really good. Anger is good for us, okay? It's how we deal with anger. That determines if how we're dealing with it is in the best way possible, okay? And then after you kind of walk through this with them and talk about, I'm like, okay, well, what are some things that you think we can do that are appropriate for when we're angry and we can express it, okay? And kind of help them come up with ideas and be like, do you think we can just say that I'm angry? Just be like, I'm angry. Do you think that I think that would work? Which is just say, I'm angry. Or maybe we could stomp our feet. Or maybe we could hit a pillow. Or maybe we could go color or rip paper, whatever, depending on the age of your child. Come up with ways to talk. If you guys have teens, like, still talk with them. Like, be like, I've noticed that, when we're angry, maybe this comes up. What do you think are some, healthier ways that we can express our anger? Do you think we can just say, I'm feeling angry? If you have younger kids, a lot of things I say is, if I'm pointing out, be like, oh, it seems like you're feeling angry right now. Well, let's use our words to express anger, not our hands to express anger, which means like we don't hit. And then after you go over things that are appropriate and healthy ways to express anger, cover the non-appropriate things. So they're aware of it. They won't know that hitting is maybe not appropriate when to express anger. So bring it up. So it's like, okay, well, what do you think are some, not appropriate and maybe not so good ways to express our anger? And then kind of have them think of things come up and be like, well, maybe, like hitting, biting, kicking, screaming, yelling, punching, pinching, whatever it is, there's lots of them out there, whatever it is. And so then after you bring up kind of maybe the not appropriate things, like, okay, well, when we're feeling angry, do you think it's okay to hit? No. Well, what do you think we can do when we're angry? Can you stomp your foot and say, I'm angry, and work with them through that, okay? We're teaching children how to express anger in healthy ways and bring up the awareness of not healthy ways to express our anger, okay? And now, when it comes up to that, okay, great, I did that. Well, how do I do it in the moment? Okay, well, in the heat of the moment, maybe we're triggered, so that first comes to us. We gotta calm our anger down, listen to our anger, find out what needs going unmet, take a deep breath, and then address our child and just say, it seems like you're feeling angry right now. Okay, a lot of times children, they don't know how to express their emotions, so it comes out they're hitting, kicking, tantrums, yelling, arguing, okay? So when we can help put what they're possibly feeling into words, then they can start to make that connection. And so, like, for example, if my 1-year-old is feeling frustrated, and I say, oh, Owen, it seems like you're feeling frustrated and you feel like you need to hit something. And be like, okay, well, we can't hit our sister. You can't hit your sister. Would you like to work out your frustration or your anger by hitting this pillow? That's a good thing for like a younger child. For, my 3-year-old, I'll be like, Bobby, it seems like you're feeling really angry right now. Would you like to, do you want to show me your anger would you like to show me or demonstrate your anger on this piece of paper or this doll or this stuffed animal? Or would you like to color out your anger? Just offering healthier ways to express anger that isn't harming themselves, harming others, or harming property or, your things. Give them options. Maybe they'll be like, no, and run away. It's okay. Give them some space, hold space for them. Let them come back and be like, would you like to work out your anger on a piece of paper? Or would you like to rip up some paper? Like ripping up paper is actually really fun and a great way to express, like, get the anger out, just rip it. And then eventually they're laughing because it's so funny. But be involved. Okay, that's the thing. That is probably the most important thing, is helping our children learn how to express anger in healthy ways. It's about connection. We're trying to connect with our child because there's a disconnection that happened when anger was expressed. And we need them to help them calm down so that we can find what needs going unmet so that we can help address their need and get it met. So do it with them. Don't just be like, okay, go to your room, and because that leaves them alone, and children will actually lock themselves into their chamber of isolation. And we all have one, parents have one, children have one, everyone has one. And that's when we shut down feelings or we're sent away to deal with big emotions. And children don't know how, so they need us out there to help them express this. So if your child's expressing anger, they might run away and be like, okay, I understand, maybe you need some time right now. And then just stand there. Either try to sit by them. If they don't want you to sit by them, just wait until they're ready to come out. And they'll be like, okay, would you like to, like, I noticed that you're feeling angry. Would you like to express your anger by coloring on a piece of paper? Would you like to work out your anger by hitting this pillow or whatever it is? You're helping them to find ways to process their anger in healthier ways. Okay, the next thing is, once we've done that, again, it's about connection. You bring up the appropriate things, maybe the inappropriate ways to express anger. The next thing is to role play. Woohoo! Okay, so role play. You can even do this with teens, so I don't want to hear anything like, oh, this is only for young children. No, this is for children of all ages. All children can role play. You can role play in different ways with your teenagers, okay? Or your 12-year-olds, or your 8-year-olds, or your 5-year-olds, or your 2-year-olds, okay? There's always ways to role play situations. So you could bring up something like, okay, I'm feeling angry right now. Like, you as a parent, you be angry. Be like, I You know, maybe play with your child. Like maybe you're playing with your child and be like, I feel angry right now and I want to hit, or I want to whatever, and be angry. You know, like play to be angry. And be like, I'm feeling angry, so I'm going to go color, or I'm going to go rip paper, or I'm going to stomp my feet as hard as I can. Because then our children look at that and they're like, oh, okay. So mom's, when she expresses anger, she stomps her feet. Maybe she takes some deep breaths. You know, like, I'm feeling angry, so I need to take some deep breaths right now to calm down. Okay, we're modeling that for our children. Okay, our children learn by modeling. We are their mirrors, 100%. They do everything and say everything and be everything that we are, okay? And so as we can be that model for them, they'll start to learn it for themselves. The next thing, I don't want to go too long, but so yeah, just role play. Find situations that you can do with role playing. Maybe do it through action figures or Legos, whatever it is. Have one Lego be angry and have that Lego hit another Lego and be like, oh man. And then have your child be like, oh, did he hit? Was he angry? Oh, how can we help this Lego learn to do it in a better, appropriate way? Okay. So just role play. So those are kind of the steps that you guys can take to teach your children how to be angry in healthy ways. The last thing I want to bring up before we close out is this amazing book. It's called I Am So Angry I Could Scream. Let's see, it is written by Laura Fox. And it's called Helping Children Deal with Anger. This is a very, very read book in our house. And I love it because it talks about this little girl named Penny. Okay, there's this little girl named Penny. And she's angry a lot. She's angry that people at school don't throw away their food. She's angry that her friend is teasing her. She's angry that she forgot her to do her math homework. And she feels embarrassed and she's angry about it. So it goes through all these situations that Penny is angry about, okay? I don't know if you guys can see that. And then when she gets home, she's angry at her mom because I think her mom said she can't go to a party or go play with friends. Oh yeah, she can't go to a party because there's going to be no supervisors or supervising like parents there. So she's angry, okay? There's her angry meter. Boom, she's furious. Penny is furious, okay? And then Penny's aunt comes into town right here. And Penny's aunt talks to her about anger. Talks to her about what she's feeling. She offered Penny a listening ear. Sometimes children just need a listening ear. So she lets Penny talk about all the things she was angry about today. The food, her friends making fun of her. Okay, so now, then, after that, she talks about, okay, how can we problem solve these? How can we problem solve? So one of the things here is she said, okay, let us take these problems one at a time. He says, why does litter on the school grounds make you so angry? So she was asking her, why does it make you angry? Okay, and then Penny talks about it. And then she talks, well, what do you think you could do? Okay, what about your friends? Okay, let's see, let's skip a few ahead. She talks to her mom about it, apologizing and for anger. Okay, so, and then she finds at the end, she finds ways how she can deal with her anger in healthier ways. This is why I love this book. Now, at the back of this book, and I have a chart like this too. It's called My Anger Chart, okay? You can use this for yourself or for your children. And one is things that make me angry. So you can, in a calm moment with your child, have them write down all the things that make them angry. Or for yourself, what are all the things that make me angry? The next then, why this makes me angry. Okay, well, why does it make you angry? You know, what needs are possibly going unmet? Okay, do this with your child and with yourself too. The last one is, how can I use anger in positive ways? Just like Penny did, she used anger in positive ways right here, where she talked to her friend that was making fun of her. She talked to her friend and said, hey, it makes me feel angry when you call me this, okay? Or with the trash, she found that she can just pick it up, not be angry, and just choose not to be angry about it. And she works through her anger in positive ways. So, do you guys want this graph? Okay, I have one just like this that I can send to you. If you want it, say, I want it in the comments below. I want the graph. Put it in the comments below and I will send it to you. I'm only going to send it if you guys want it. If you don't really want it, I'm not going to send it. So let me know and I can send this over to you guys. But this is a great book. It's on Amazon. I think it was like $8. Super awesome read. I mean, it's not that long of a story, but also children relate a lot with books. So if you have a child or even yourself feel like you struggle with anger, your child struggles with anger, I suggest you get this book and read it with them. And then you and your child can both go through the chart and start tuning into anger and know that it's a friend instead of an enemy. So I hope you guys liked today's Facebook Live. The next one will be in, let's see, we might have to postpone the next one because Christmas is coming up in 3 weeks. So I usually do it the 4th Thursday. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the 4th Thursday would be Christmas Eve. So I'm actually going to probably do it on our next live, our Q&A live. If you guys have any questions or situations, or maybe you did the anger and you have questions about it, Q&A is a great time to ask those, or even in the comments or do a post. But I'll do a Q&A probably on Tuesday the 22nd. Okay, a little bit before Christmas. That's when I'll do my Q&A. So with that, I hope you guys have an awesome day. And again, if you want that chart, I'm so angry I could scream chart, let me know in the comments below and I'll send one right over to you guys. Okay, have a great day. See you later.